Welcome to PrimeAlpha's interview series, insights from industry practitioners discussing their journey and their discoveries. Hello, my name is Amanda Jogia, the CEO of PrimeAlpha, an online ecosystem bringing together alternative opportunities and their investors. I have the pleasure of introducing Andy Serotta of Houston-based Logista, a commodity fund with a one-of-a-kind strategy. He is Logista's founder, CIO, and general partner. Andy is also a civic leader and philanthropist supporting many worthy causes within the Jewish community. Welcome, Andy.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Let's start by talking about what led you here. Tell us about your career journey.
Yeah, it's been a fairly long journey, I guess. It starts back in '91. I graduated Harvard, and I did go into money management. Although I did it through the door of Walt Disney. That was my first job out of college. I was not wearing one of the Disney suits, but actually working in the Treasury Department. And there I was the first hired foreign exchange trader, and then later on moved over to manage part of the investment portfolio. I probably should leave out some of the details or it'll just take way too long, but just hitting some of the highlights. I left Walt Disney, went to a place called the Boston Company in Boston, managing a $4.5 billion portfolio at the ripe young age of 24. And from there, I followed my boss down to Columbus Circle Investors in Stamford, Connecticut. He was planning to sort of rebuild the business that got left behind in Boston and never really materialized. But so then I started my first hedge fund with my roommate from Harvard, and that did fairly well. We had very good returns back in that was from '98 to like '04, something like that. But ultimately, we couldn't raise the assets that I wanted to, and it was a little frustrating. So I made my way back into the larger world of trading, I guess. That's when I got into energy trading, and so that was in '04. I started at Hess, which is and Hetco, which is a division of Emirata Hess. People probably have heard of Hess, like the oil trucks and so forth. And that's what got me into energy trading. So from there, I guess the journey continues. But ultimately, from Hess, I went through Vitol in Houston, and then started my own company, Logista. We had some managed accounts for a little while, and then finally the Logista Fund, which started in 2013. So our fund is now 8.5 years into it. I guess besides the journey itself, one of the things that I always warn people about trading is it's never an easy road. It's always a long road. And even though I consider myself to be frankly an excellent trader, but look how long it's taken to get into the right spot. Many years. So hopefully it all continues well.
Describe that pivotal point in time where you decided to, venture out on your own. What led you to create Logista?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess for me, for better or for worse, not always have people understood well the type of trading that I do. And even though I'm very much an open book and I'm happy to discuss it and I'm happy to go through all of through all of the details, but that doesn't mean that everyone's always going to understand what we do. So what tends to happen is we're doing well and everybody's happy, and then we hit a little road bump, and all of a sudden, what's going on? We don't understand what should we do? And I say, look, road bumps are part of the journey, but um, that that can throw people for a loop. So that sort of manifested itself in a variety of different ways. I guess ultimately I said, look, the best way to go is if I'm on my own, then I don't have to, we don't have to be beholden to the whims of, some boss who wakes up on the wrong side of the bed or some investor who wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And it took us a little while to get here, but we finally made it. And like I said, the fund started in 2013. We're 8.5 years into it. We have a fantastic investor base, really everything we can ask for. We have a great team. And so the upshot of it all is, yeah, took a while to get here, but it was worth it.
Totally. I know how that feels. So I think in line with that question, I think a true tell of any business is how do you do during a downturn? How has a strategy always been successful?
Well, we do try to be very consistent. I think overall we are. Needless to say, nobody makes money every day, and nor do we. But I think one of the things that we point to is our rolling 12-month returns. We say, look, there's going to be ups and downs. for a variety of reasons. But if we could be positive over a 12-month period, then that means that we're doing our job, right? And so our fund, which is now about 8.5 years old, so there's been 90 12-month periods that you could be invested in, 90 rolling 12-month periods, of which 87 of them have been positive. So so that speaks pretty well, I think, to our consistency. We do have, we do have some rough spots here and there, but we're long vol traders, which means that, like, we bleed a little bit of time decay, but overall we do well during periods of volatility. And usually there's something that comes along, gives us a little volatility. You never know what it's going to be. But anyway, thank God we've been pretty consistent over time.
So to expand on that unique strategy focus, I know you guys are doing spread options and energy. What is a spread option?
Yeah, so we're in this little tiny corner of the world, which we call CSO, like calendar spread options. The I try to explain to people. I say, if you envision the room that you're sitting in is a room full of opportunity, and you want to look for us, we're a little tiny speck of dust in that room. But on that speck of dust, we are the king of the hill. So that's our like that's how we ply our trade, if you will. So to answer your question, it says spread options. Well, you have to start like this. In the oil market, first you have futures, which I think many people are familiar with. The concept of the oil delivered for a specific date in the future. So you have monthly delivery of futures, and then there's a spread between futures, so you can trade April versus May, or May versus June, or April versus June for that matter. You can trade any 2 months, and that's the spread. And then we trade options on those spreads. So it is extremely esoteric, as you can imagine. That's what options on spreads are.
So in terms of the history of the firm, you started the firm in 2013. What motivates you to keep going?
I mean, listen, everybody has different reasons that sort of get them up out of bed. The truth of the matter is, I love trading, and I always have loved trading. I guess a born trader knows that there's probably nothing else that could really satisfy him like trading. But I think more than that, I think for me, I mean, thank God I've been successful along the way. Of course, there have been ups and downs, as with all things. But thankfully, I'm past the normal age of retirement in this business, and having made enough that I could. But I'm as committed to my charitable activities as I am to my day job, as they say. And so it's really all about that. I don't see how someone could continue along with all the vagaries and the ups and downs of trading if you didn't have sort of a higher calling behind you. So I thankfully give away in the millions of dollars every year, and that's that's what keeps me going.
So what do you think is your superpower?
My superpower, very interesting. Well, I think I built a trading strategy which was sort of uniquely designed around my skill set. So, which I'll explain in a second. But so I try to tell people, I say, if I go up against, pick someone, Michael Jordan in basketball, needless to say, it would be quite a joke. But if I went up against him in a game of chess, I could beat him, right? So I think then the objective in terms of the way to approach or that I approach trading is, I say, well, what am I good at? Let me build a trading strategy around what I'm good at. And essentially, no one's going to beat me at my game, because I've built the game. It's going to be played the way that I say it should be played, and that's how it goes. So what is the game exactly? Well, the game is, I happen to be a very fast thinker. So, and I mentioned chess. I think, Amanda, like I won the U.S. Junior Open 3 times in chess many years ago. But it's indicative of like what I'm good at. I have sort of a quick mind, and I'm able to sort of see, pick up on relationships that other people can't necessarily see, and certainly not in the time frame that I can pick up on them. So, if someone's bidding for one option over here and someone else is offering a different option over here, I can say, look, there's some inconsistency there, between this bid and this offer. And so I can kind of sell one and buy the other, and I've sort of captured a relative value edge. That's essentially what the strategy is built around, and that sort of to answer what my superpower would be, if it will. But like that's my skill set. It's just fast thinking and able to sort of pick out things that don't really fit together. And if we do that enough times, then even though each trade into and of itself isn't necessarily profitable, but it's kind of like, if you get enough looks at the plate, you're going to get, you're going to eventually hit the home run. So I say that, like, every trade that we do has some expectation of profitability, sorry. So maybe if it's 55%, 60%, it's hard to quantify, but every trade has some expected edge to it. And even though I can't control the ultimate outcome, but if we can play the game enough times, the outcome generally will fall in our favor, and hence the consistency of what we're doing. As I mentioned before, being profitable 87 out of 90 rolling 12-month periods is fairly consistent. That's really what we're after, which is just keep doing it over and over again, keep trying to find the inconsistencies, the arbitrage, if you will, but it's not a pure arbitrage. It's sort of like a relative value trading, if you will. But if you keep at it day in, day out, and keep doing it over and over again, hopefully, it comes out in your favor. And that's what we've found over time.
So interesting. You started your career in 91, your ability to see the angle. What in your history, in your career, do you think is kind of the most kind of unique or insightful thing that you've seen or learned? And what do you think is kind of the next, kind of in the future, kind of the next kind of angle that you're thinking about?
Right. The most unique thing that I've learned, I guess. So I'm trying to figure out what to point to. I think that for me, the trading is like a little bit of a microcosm of life. And what a person really should want in life, I think, is to be real with life, right? um to be to be honest with yourself, to be able to say, look, I made a mistake today, but that doesn't make me a bad person. I made a mistake and I'm going to get it right tomorrow, right? I think in trading, that's I have a variety of aphorisms, if you will, that the guys on the team know, but like one of them is, I just want the truth, right? So it's very empowering to live with the truth, because then and again, if that movie, you can't handle the truth, you have to be prepared to handle the truth, right? You have to be able to say, look, this is what I think. I might be wrong, but okay, I'm going to take my chances and see. And then if you see something that says that I'm wrong, okay, I made a mistake. I tell people I make mistakes every day. I just hope that I do more things right than wrong every day. And I think that's a critical lesson that I've learned from trading, that is applicable to life, which is just be honest, be truthful. Don't just because the truth is inconvenient, as they say, just because it's not what you hoped for. I'd say don't move the truth to make yourself feel good, but rather like go try to tackle the truth. And it's okay to say, I'm not ready, I'm not prepared for that yet, but I understand that that's how it should be. Like I understand intellectually that I should eat less if I want to lose weight, but okay, I'm not prepared to do that yet. So I'm going to continue to to eat the things that I like, but don't fool yourself and say like, well, it's okay that I eat whatever I want. What, like you have to be honest with yourself, right? In terms of trading, so I personally believe that trading always changes, and so if you're not prepared to change, you're not really going to last that long in trading. I mean, any successful strategy, particularly now in today's day and age, the pace of change is just is mind-boggling, and you just have to be prepared to say, look, I know this worked yesterday, but it's not working today, so we have to change. Now, obviously, you don't want to just sort of abandon things that are working just because you have one bad day, but there is a process by which you have to be willing to change and adapt. So for instance, in our fund, we started out as trading crude crude oil only. We more recently we introduced natural gas, and now we've actually gotten into some other commodities as well, including corn and soybeans and so forth, all with the same basic strategy. But it's sort of it's an attempt to sort of keep moving and keep staying one step ahead of the competition, if you will. So I think that's that's a lesson for life. If But turning your question now, the angles in terms of my own life. So I guess I think this is also important. I mentioned about being truthful with oneself, and being honest how you go through life. I mean, obviously I'm not going to be able to do this forever, even though I hope to be doing it for a number more years. But you think about what's going to be down the road and so forth like that. And I certainly don't want to look back and say, well, I spent all my best days trading, and now I have nothing to show for it, so to speak. I might have whatever, a fancy house or something like that, a nice car, but like there's got to be more to it than that, right? So that's why I'm not waiting till I retire to give away a lot of money. I give away a lot of money now and all the time, and that's part and parcel of who I am and who I want to be. So I don't know if that's the next angle, but that's a part of the angle of like, who I am and where I think people should be. I will say that like, someday I'll retire and I'll probably roll up my sleeves and work for those same charitable organizations, maybe inside as opposed to giving the money. But that's I guess that's the angle that I'm looking at. So hopefully I can keep helping people along the way, both inside and outside of our company. So yeah.
My dad says you can't take it with you. So there you
Right.
go.
Right. That's very true. I think, unfortunately, yeah, there's people easily, it's a very common thing. And I think it's something that, frankly, I feel that you have to work on. I work on myself quite a bit. It's important to me who I am. And I tell people my integrity is worth more than my money. And that's a principle that we have at Logista. And yeah, you can't take it all with you. So, and at the same time, that also doesn't say, well, I'll decide what to do, the day before I die. That's not, that really doesn't work either, does it? So, that's why I'm, very actively involved in, giving away as much of the money as I can along the way. So, yeah, makes me feel good.
Yeah. I had a conversation today and we were talking about that companies are built on values.
Right.
And I think that amplifies the true, like, the integrity of the business versus just a company creating a business just to make money.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I mean, I guess look, ultimately, we've had some meetings recently that really made me feel good about things. But I built the company that I wanted to build. And I can't say, it's not like, you always know exactly on day one what it's going to look like in the future, but you can have a vision. And so I had a little bit of vision. I wanted a vision of a company that I felt good about what we did, that were, straightforward, we're honest. Obviously, we need to be making money or we wouldn't stay in business. But that the company itself, that like that I would enjoy being with the people that I worked with, that we'd be having fun while we're there. I try to like make sure I ask people, are you happy? We want people to be happy. If you're not happy, let's do something different. Like life is too short, right? And I think you see that at Logista. If you talk to like to our employees and stuff like that, you'll see that that people are very happy, and it's really like a little family, which is which I'm a very proud of, and also b it becomes a little more challenging as the company grows. We are thankfully growing, and so there's more people added to the staff. But anyone that we interview, I say that the first most important criterion of being a Logista employee is trustworthiness, because like we have to, we're in this together. We live and die as a team, and I need to know that like you got my back, I got your back. We're going to do this together. So yeah, I think those values come across very strongly in Logista. And hopefully it comes across in everything we do.
Well, thank you, Andy. It's so refreshing to talk about values and business combined. So thank you for your time. Yeah, we're going to continue these podcasts. I'm super excited to have you back on.
Great, thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank you.